Good morning everyone and welcome back to Wake Up Wild with Pete the Wildlife Park. I'm here with Amy. Hi. And we are in our otter enclosure at the moment. So this morning it's going to be a little bit different. So we're going to give them, it's very, very cold up here at the moment. So we're going to give them a little bath. So unfortunately we are going to start it straight away while people are joining. So Amy's going to start pouring the water in for our otters. So as she's doing that, I'll just say good morning to a few people. So good morning to Claire, Matthew, Kerry. Thank you for joining us. Kath, Rona, thank you. If you would like a shout out, guys, then please just pop your name in the comments below. And as I say, we are joined with our otters and our keeper Amy today.
Hi, happy Friday.
So good morning to Jane, Dan, Julie. Good morning and thank you so much for joining us. Good morning to Max. So as you can see, our otters are having their breakfast this morning. So Amy, what are our eaters? Our otters eating this morning?
They are having some lovely scraps this morning. So it's just a nice little small fish. So our otters, they are carnivores, and their diet out in the wild would mainly sort of be things like snails, insects, small fish, things like that. So we do feed them some meat stuff here in the form of like mince and chicks as well, just to substitute some stuff into their diet. But we also feed them like razor clams, crayfish, little prawns and things like that as well. So they do kind of have some like naturalistic stuff in their diet. And these guys can actually eat a quarter of their body weight in food a day. So they are very food orientated animals. Which is why you might have noticed I've got a poo pick with me here. We always bring something in the enclosure with us because our otters like to put holes in our wellies if we don't feed them fast enough. So they are very, very cheeky animals. They're very naughty. They've all got their own little personalities. So we've actually got 9 otters in our group at the moment. So we started off with just Jude, who's 10 years old now. You might have seen recently he had his birthday. We did a pizza party for him, which kind of went a little bit viral, ended up in some big newspapers. So then we got Ruby, who is our female. So they are a pair. So otters, Asian short-clawed otters, which these guys are actually what we call monogamous, which means they sort of pair up and they stay within that pair for life. So those two, Ruby and Jude, have become our breeding pair. So Ruby's only 5, so she's a little bit younger than Jude is. And then they've had quite a few sets of pups here at the park now. So our first lot of pups, actually, we don't have any of them still left here at the park. They have moved on to be part of the breeding programme in other places. So we had Barry, Beatrice and Bernadette. And they, like I say, they've all moved on. So Barry actually has gone up to Edinburgh. And then in our second litter, we had Chip, Charlie, and Carol. So we've still got Chip and Charlie here.
Fantastic names, by the way.
But Carol, she moved on, so she's gone to Whipsnade. So hopefully they'll be kind of part of the little breeding programme as well. So if you have a look at these guys' hands, so they are the smallest species of otter, and they only have partially webbed hands and feet, so unlike other species of otter, and that's because they're really good at sort of climbing and digging and also holding on to their prey. So they're not completely all webbed. I don't know if you can see them there.
Getting some very good shots here. I will move away though, because they're little nibblers.
Than they are in their bath this morning. So with these guys being very food orientated, like I say, they can be quite cheeky with us. They are sometimes a little bit naughty, but it means that we can sort of train them. So you might have seen that we've done some training videos. We probably won't do any training videos with these guys just because it can be a little bit hectic with having so many animals sort of within the group, but we sort of train them to come inside the halts in case we need to shut them in for a health check or anything like that, or we can train them to come outside. We can station train them.
We've got some of them
watering can.
trying to steal the watering can. Hey, what is in there?
Very naughty.
Oh.
So these are some of the pups from our last litter. So we've only got Alfie named at the moment. The other pups still need naming. He's kind of got a little pink nose, so he's a little bit easier to tell apart.
So if you guys have got any good naming suggestions, pop it in the comments below. And we'll see if we can name our other otters.
Yeah, Ruby and Jude are really good parents. So when the otter pups are born, they're kind of only really teeny tiny. They're kind of not this lovely brown colour, but they're actually a kind of a grey-white fur, sort of like the fur that's sort of underneath them, if you can see, when they're first born. And their eyes are closed over, so it's up to Ruby, mum, to make sure that she's feeding them. She's keeping them nice and warm. So for the first few weeks or so, they're completely in the holt with mum, feeding off her. Also, some older females in the group might try and sort of help look after them as well. And Ruby does a really, really good job. She's a very, very attentive mum, pretty much up until they're ready to come outside. So once they kind of come outside, she kind of loses interest a little bit with them. She kind of thinks she's done her bit. So she thinks, right, now it's Dad's turn instead. So this is little Alfie by the bath there at the moment. So outside, Jude is really a good dad. He often will make sure that all of the pups have got their food before he gets his own food. He also does like to show them off to the keepers. He kind of, if he sees us up near the glass, he'll sort of bring them over and show us, or he'll teach them how to swim. He'll take them for their first dip, and they sort of carry them like a dog would carry their pup, sort of by the scruff of the neck. Oh, so destructive, guys. Are you not enjoying your bath? Is it not good enough?
So we'll say hi to a few more people as well, while these otters are causing chaos. So we have got Ashley, Vicky, Barbara, Tammy, Laura, Helen, Alison, Sarah. Thank you so much. We've had a few naming suggestions as well. So Julie is saying Blossom.
Oh, that's a very nice name.
Jane is saying Fred, Barry, Max and Paddy. Ollie the otter, Whiskers, Arthur. I quite like Arthur. That's quite cute.
Really nice.
And Georgina's 4-year-old is saying Ronald. That's also very cute, guys. So if you've got any questions about our otters, then please just pop those in the comments below and we'll try our best while they're enjoying their little spa morning. A little hot bath and their breakfast. What could be better?
I know.
I wish I was lying in the bath with my breakfast right now.
Definitely. Not out in the snow.
So if anyone wants a shout out as well, please pop it in. Pop your names in the comments and we'll give you a little shout out this morning. Let us know what you're up to as well, guys. If you're enjoying your breakfast and watching us, then let us know. Let us know what you've got for your breakfast. So good morning to Maria from Wales. Good morning to Alex, Sarah, Isabel and Daisy. Good morning to Emily. That was absolutely adorable.
They're so good at using their hands. So they often do play with things in the enclosure as well. So they'll kind of like to pick up little pebbles with their hands and roll on their backs and play with them, which is very, very cute.
Yes. Hi.
So that was kind of like a little warning noise there. That was like a little snort. So they'll do that sometimes when they're a little bit unsure about things. So we're kind of looking at Lou's feet there, wondering whether they could maybe get their little teeth into her boots. Very, very cheeky.
They're very clever as well. They'll sometimes split up and go behind you.
Yeah.
So you always have to be watching.
It's quite nice for them to have this warm bath this morning. So I don't know whether you guys can see, but their pond is frozen over. So it is really cold here. We had quite a lot of snow overnight. And yeah, the pond's kind of frozen over. So they are semi-aquatic animals. They do spend a lot of their time in the water. So it's important that we make sure that they've got access to water even when the stuff freezes over. So they often do wash their food, which is quite funny. So when we feed them, they'll take sometimes the chicks and also some of the roach, which we also feed them, which is a bit of a bigger fish. They'll take those down to the water and they'll actually wash it before they eat it, which is quite cute.
So you can see that's what they're doing now as well, taking the fish out of the water. So hi to Julie, Rachel, hi Bertie. Pam is asking, is there one who's friendlier to the keepers?
I'd probably say Ruby is the friendliest. She's kind of the one that we've maybe done the most kind of training with. Jude is probably the naughtiest of them all, to be honest. Although Barry was quite naughty before we sent him away. He was very, very cheeky. I think sometimes they kind of get their confidence because they're in such a big group, whereas when we sort of maybe only have a pair, they're kind of sort of much easier for us to manage as keepers, where they've kind of got the kind of numbers on us, so they tend to do gang up on us a little bit, like Lou was saying, especially if we need to drain the pool, because we go in and kind of take the plug out to start that draining, and often by the time we're ready to kind of empty the pool, it can be a bit dirty after they've washed all their fish in it. So it can be quite hard to see them, so they'll go under the water, which again puts us at a disadvantage because we can't do that, and they'll kind of try and go around our feet. They're very, very cheeky, but Ruby's a little bit nicer than the others, and also Alfie as well, who's just on his way over, is very, very nice. He's very good at sort of taking food off us very gently when we do training and things.
Hi.
So carrying that fish around there. So they often do carry things around in their arms as well. So we've got one of them that particularly likes to kind of carry its nice piece of bark around. Even though there's lots of other nice pieces of bark in the enclosure, they can get very sort of protective over a pebble or a stone or a piece of bark. And even when the others try to take it off them. That's very interesting.
They're all very interested in the watering can.
Yeah. So they're very inquisitive, our otters are, which works out really well when we're doing things like enrichment. So we sometimes make it a little bit harder for them to get to food, just because they're very sort of good at working things out. And with them, again, being sort of in a group, they'll sort of watch each other and learn off each other. Ruby and Jude are very clever. They're very good at just destroying my watering can, guys. They're very good at working things out quite quickly. So we'll just make things a little bit harder. We'll put their food in parcels, or we have like a bottle feeder, a pipe feeder, and they'll stick their little hands in. They're very good at kind of working it out.
Sorry if you can't hear, guys.
Thank you. Can I have this? They're also very naughty in the fact that because they like to pop their hands in things, they will also put their hands in the little drain plug, and they'll stuff lots of things down there. So they'll sort of stuff stones and rocks and pebbles, the shells sometimes off their shellfish in there. We once thought that our otters really loved broccoli, because we did used to feed them a fruit and vegetable feed, and it turned out that they just stuffed all the broccoli down the drain, so they definitely weren't a fan, and that took us keepers a while to unblock so that we could actually drain the pool. So yeah, they're very, very cheeky.
So we've got Tilly and Ted saying hi. Lauren says she's enjoying her crumpets and they have an annual pass and can't wait to come back. So we've got Laura saying she's watching with her son Jack. She'd love one to be called Ash. Tunnel's asking how many males and females we've got here at the park.
So we've got Jude, Chip and Charlie, and one of the pups who's a male, who's Alfie, and then the rest of them in here are the girls. So like I say, most of our sort of like adult females have been moved on to other zoos as part of the breeding programme. So we've just got the pups that were born in the last litter, which was about 1.5 years ago now, and then Ruby. So we have actually contracepted Ruby at the moment, just to prevent her from having any more pups. You might have seen, if you're pass holders here at the park, that we've got some signs up to say that we are doing a new otter enclosure. So obviously COVID kind of has put a stop to that at the moment, with lockdown and building and things, but hopefully soon in the future we'll have a nice new enclosure for these guys. So just because we've kind of got as many as we want for the size of this enclosure, we're just stopping them from breeding at the moment, but they're normally pregnant for about 60 days, and then they'll sort of give birth to up to 7 pups. We normally have between 3 and 5 in the litters here. And then they can give birth twice a year as well. So like I say, the other females within the group will sort of help look after them so that they can learn for when they might become a breeding female.
So ours would tend to have been born, I think it's August time, isn't it?
Yeah, August, September time, yeah.
First 2 litters were August, and then the last litter we just had was in September. So good morning to... Sorry.
No, they're very, very cute when they're...
Good morning to Keaton and Carter. Good morning to Stephen and everyone from Mosaic Boutique in League. Thank you for joining us. Good morning to Harvey, who said one could be called Chase off Paw Patrol.
Aww.
Sorry guys, it's taken me a little bit while to read everyone's comments. So hi to Rachel, Stephanie, Ben. Good morning to Suzanne, who says she's homeschooling and looking forward to when we can use our season passes. We can't wait to welcome everyone back. As soon as we have an update, we will let everyone know. Claire is asking which one is Ruby. It's quite hard to tell.
Ruby and Jude have actually moved away into their halts, so they've kind of gone back to bed, Mum and Dad have.
They've had the breakfast and gone back.
Yeah. And then Chip is just the one that's by that fish, so he's one of the older males. Oh, Ruby and Jude are on the way back now.
Mike is asking how much fish can they eat in a day?
Well, I was saying before, they can eat a quarter of their body weight in sort of food a day. So as a group, they have 1 kilo of the sprats every day, and they also have 900 grams of roach as well, which is kind of a bigger fish than these. So they eat quite a lot of fish, and then they also get sort of about 600 grams of the shellfish, and then they also get a meat feed in the form of mince, which we use to make...
Getting very...
I think someone's stolen someone's fish. Yeah, which we use to make the pizza for Jude, and then also their chicks as well.
So good morning to Shirley and Wendy. Good morning to Julie, Rachel. Hello to Helen. Hello to Kathy. Hello to Rachel and Abby. Good morning to June. Good morning to Julie, who is also asking, do they all get on with each other?
Yeah, they do. I mean, they do have that brotherly, sisterly love, where, you know, one minute they'll all be cuddled together or playing, and the next minute they'll be stealing each other's food or stealing each other's favourite rock or pebble. But yeah, as a group, they are sort of quite friendly with each other. They get along most of the time. You will see them playing for large parts of the day. They also are very noisy. If you've been to the park before, they're probably one of the noisiest animals on the park, to be fair, especially when they want feeding. And they'll kind of come right up to the glass and let the keepers know when we're walking past that maybe they've not been fed in, you know, half an hour or so. So they do get a lot of feeds during the day. So they get at least 6 feeds a day, sometimes even more if we split those feeds up a little bit. So yeah, they do eat a lot. They probably say they spend a lot of the time eating in the day, some time playing, and the rest of it all kind of cuddled up. So obviously it's quite cold here today, but inside their halts they've got a lovely heated system. So this is the brotherly love that I was telling you about.
Not really a lot going on, just holding each other down to the ground.
Yes, they've got a lovely nice heater system inside, so once they've kind of had their feed this morning, they'll probably go back to bed for a little bit and curl up in their sort of heated area, get themselves nice and warm again.
So good morning to Robin and Amy. Good morning to Kelly, who's enjoying her porridge, delicious. Good morning to Victoria, who's watching with her 3-year-old Stephanie, who's giggling away at them eating fish. So good morning to Amanda, Fiona, Sharon, Claire. Claire's asking, how do you know who's who?
They are one of the hardest animals on the park to tell apart. I'd probably say these guys and the meerkat are probably the hardest. For us, well, for me personally, I think their faces are a little bit easier to tell apart, especially Alfie, who's got the pink nose, Chip. He's got some like sort of different eyes to the rest of them, and also Ruby and Jude, they're a little bit older, so you sometimes can tell in their face The pups sort of have a younger looking face than the adults do. But yeah, when we had sort of Carol here, as well as Bernadette and Barry and Beatrice, sometimes telling those adult females and adult males apart from each other sort of was quite hard. Yeah, so we more look for sort of their faces. When you work with them a lot, you tend to see little things with them, especially our lemurs, for example. A lot of people always ask us how we tell those apart, but just kind of looking at their faces, really. Some of them are darker than others. Some of them have got like a little like dot of darker fur in one area where another one hasn't. So just looking out for kind of little identifiers like that, really.
You're being too cute in this.
Going in their bath now.
Oh.
So this is Chip, who's still out with us.
Hi. So hi to Dylan and Leo as well, who are annual pass holders. Georgina's saying she wishes she could go back to bed after her breakfast. Yeah. I think we could all agree on that one.
Definitely.
Charlie's watching and saying hi as well. So hi to Charlie and Julia. Hi to Sam and Carol. Are you coming back over? I'm waiting for... Oh, there he goes.
Waiting for them to tip it over.
Yeah. So what would you say, Amy, is the funniest story or the cheekiest story about one of our otters?
I mean, inside the house, so their halt's kind of back onto our keeper area. I don't know if you can see a little bit further up that way. There's like a little handle on a door for us to get in. And one time they actually managed to move the halt slightly and break into the keeper area inside. Which then meant that they had access to all of our tools, the shavings that go in their bed, the kind of window cleaning bucket, the squeegee, the sponges. So as you can imagine, that was great for them. Not so great for us keepers to clean up afterwards. So yeah, I think because they are one of the cheekiest animals, you have to watch out a little bit more with them. So yeah, we managed to move the halt back and secure it down a little bit more than it previously was, to kind of stop it happening again. But yeah, they managed to open the shavings bag from the bottom as well for us, so they went everywhere. Very kind.
So as you can see, they definitely keep us on our toes here.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, you're fully in the bath there, Alfie.
Enjoying it. Come on then.
So you can see how dirty they've made that water already by washing themselves in it. So this is why we have to drain and clean the pool so much.
I'm really loving it now. How many otters can you fit in a bathtub? That is the question. Let us know if you can see how many you can count, guys. So Sue's just asking, are the pups all at their full size now?
They've got slightly more growing to do, not by much, and they pretty much are fully grown. They're normally sort of like fully grown by about 2 years of age, really. So like I say, they're about 1.5-ish now. So
I got soaking wet that time, thanks.
So their coat looks much smoother when they go in the water. They kind of look a little bit darker as well.
I'm getting my exercise going up and down, guys. So hi to Kay, Gemma, Michael, Jonathan, who have just joined us as well. For those of you who have just joined us, our otters are enjoying a little spa treatment this morning. A nice hot bath and enjoying their breakfast in there as well. This is too cute.
Or
Too cute
communicating
for a
with each other
Friday
now.
morning.
Or going on a little hunt up that side.
So remember guys, if you've got any questions about our otters, anything you've ever really wanted to know about otters, then just pop it in the comments below. Or if you just want a shout out this Friday, then please just pop your name in the comments and we'll give you a shout out as well. So hi to James and Erin, hi to Julie, hi Helen, hi Erin, hi Dawn. And also guys, as we said a little bit ago, some of our otters, how many of our otters don't have names?
And there's still 4 of them without names, the pup.
So we've got 4 otters that need naming. So we need your help to name our otters. So they're ones that were born in our last litter. So, and are they male or female?
4 girls.
We've got 4 girl otters that need naming. So try and help us out, guys. So Louie and Henry are saying hi. Hi to Sam. Hi Darren. Claire's saying how about Otto? Otto is a very cute name.
Otto is a lovely name.
So if you pop all your suggestions in the comments, and we will pick 4 out, and we will let you all know later on today.
This
So
one's
please,
saying hi then.
hi.
This little hand up saying hi. You're more interested in the phone now than the fish, aren't you?
I wouldn't be surprised if they managed to get the phone off me and run away with it.
No, definitely. So we've got quite a few of them in the bath now. Definitely loving that. Oh, one's grooming another one as well. That's quite cute. So they do that quite regularly, especially when they've been in the water, where they'll sort of groom one another. So that's kind of like bonding for them, especially between the siblings, which is quite nice, especially when they're kind of be a little bit cheeky to each other now and again. It's nice to see them sort of making up, as you do with your brothers and sisters. Just flicking water on us.
Yeah. Me and Amy are just getting wet here.
Yeah, nice. It's more of a cold bath for us by the time it's getting over here.
So we've got Tunnel asking, can they walk on the frozen ice with the pool being frozen over?
Sorry, I'm joking. Yeah, they do. They're a bit naughty sometimes.
So I think I've seen it in the past, or I actually got a video a few years ago of them with it all iced over and all snowy, and they were just all tootling along. And I think if you do go back on our Facebook, you should be able to see it. It was a couple of years ago, so you might have to go quite far back. But there is a video of them all running across the snow and the ice, which is very cute.
Yeah. It's nice as well when the pups get to that age where they start coming out of the halts. Because they'll sort of, when it freezes over, say like December, January time, the pups are kind of at that stage where they're really exploring. And they're funny when they go sliding across it, and then mum and dad will kind of come running out and try and sort of get them back in.
Yeah, I think one of the pups before now has fell into the water, and Judas had to go and rescue the pup. He come out very soggy and went back into their home.
Yeah, so they only sort of like leave them be near the water once they're kind of they've learned how to swim. But like I said before, that Jude's very good at teaching them. Ruby kind of takes a back step once the pups are outside, and she kind of lets dad do all the work then after she's done all the feeding of them in the halts. So yeah, she thank you. Jude will take them for their swimming lessons.
So they are very family orientated, otters are.
Yeah.
I think they can normally live in up to groups of 20 in a family unit. And all get on, but obviously it's very dependent. You get some sibling rivalry going on. So hi to Angela, Linda, Joe, Jenny, Brandy, Joanne. Hi to Jenny, hi to Heather, hi Zena, hi to Angela, Emily, Jenna, Julie. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. It is very cold and snowy up here, so we have given them a nice hot bath that they've made very, very dirty now.
They have. We've all gone up exploring at the top of the enclosure. So we sometimes, when I'm saying that we do little bits of enrichment with the animals and we make it a little bit harder to get their food, we sometimes, it isn't food orientated, so we'll do like a scent scatter around the enclosure as well, and they'll kind of go around and smell all the different scents, so they'll often kind of be exploring around their enclosure quite a lot. And we do sort of revamp it in here as well. We move all the stuff around, so you can see we've kind of got an old Christmas tree in here at the moment. So that's very fun. So we often get the old Christmas trees from the keepers or the volunteers or some of you guys who've donated some as well into our different animal enclosures. Yeah, and then we just kind of move things around. With our otters as well, we tend to use kind of branches and stuff for their nesting material. So what we do is we'll put some branches, we just got some to the right of Lou on the log, kind of covered in snow at the moment. But yeah, when we clean them out, we'll put fresh kind of foliage in their enclosure. And then we kind of let them take it into their nest, which is quite nice. So quite naturalistic for them, so they get to build their own nests, which is much better, because when we tend to do it, they'll kind of move everything around anyway. They don't like how we put things in, so they'll move it from halt to halt. So we often see, if you've been to the park before, that they'll kind of be running from one halt to another with lots of different bedding material in their mouths, to make sure that their beds and their nests are exactly how they want it.
They're starting to slow down a little bit now, as you can see from when we first came in. They were all over us wanting all the food. Now they've had a bit, they're just taking it steady. They'll come back and get a little bit and then go back to bed. So Zena is asking, how often do you clean them out?
So we clean them out every day, obviously to remove their poo, which is not the nicest smelling of the poo on the park, to be honest. So the fish going in doesn't smell the nicest. When it's coming out the other end, it's even worse. So yeah, so we clean them out every day. But then we do sort of like a big clean in there 3 times a week, just to remove all the wet stuff, because obviously, as you can imagine, with them going in and out of the water and then them going into their bedding, it can get a little bit wet in there. So we just make sure we kind of remove everything at least 3 times a week, just to make sure it's kind of nice and dry and warm in there, especially this time of year, when it is a little bit colder outside and they need to kind of warm up in their beds. Very noisy eater.
I know. Go a little bit closer. She'll probably run away. No!
Are you coming back?
So remember, guys, we need your help to name 4 female otters. So please keep putting your suggestions in the comments, and we'll have a little look through later on today and try and make a decision and let you guys know. So please just keep popping the name suggestions in the comments, and we'll take a look later. Hi. So Darren is asking, do they maintain such large groups in the wild, or do they make smaller subgroups?
They will eventually make smaller subgroups, yeah, because sort of otters will move on to pair up and have their own breeding group, because in the groups you'll only have the one pair that are breeding. So for us it's Ruby and Jude. Obviously, like I say, we have contracepted Ruby at the moment, just to prevent her having any more pups, just because of the size of the enclosure, and we've not moved any on at the moment. But yeah, in the wild they would naturally move on to create their own breeding groups. Being surrounded now.
Yeah, they keep walking around
Ganging
us.
up on us, guys, aren't you?
It's easier when you stick together, guys. So Sarah is asking, what's it like in their indoor area? What bedding do they have?
So like I was just saying, we tend to use some shavings down in their bed, and then we use sort of like naturalistic trees, foliage. So this time of year it's more like evergreen stuff, because that's all that tends to be growing. But then we just put that in their outdoor enclosure and let them take bits off it for their bedding. So you might see kind of the snow covered trees at the moment, so we'll put some fresh ones in that aren't covered in snow today at some point. And then outside they've kind of got a sandy area. They've obviously got their pool. They've kind of got a stony area and then also a bark area as well. So they've got plenty of different materials. Like I said, they do like to play with the stones and the bark. So they tend to kind of end up in the pool a lot of the time because they'll play with them and then take them into the pool. So yeah, we tend to have to top it up in here quite a few times during the year just to make it kind of look nice and fresh.
Claire thinks you can hear the little squeaking. They are very cute little guys, but as we were saying before, they are very clever and very, very cheeky. And our naughtiest being the dad of them all, teaching all of his youngsters his naughty ways.
Indeed. Yeah, quite a few of the keepers have lost a welly or two to Jude. And you normally find out when you go to do something with the penguins and you put your foot in the pool and then your sock ends up very, very wet and your foot ends up very, very wet.
So I think the otters are actually letting us know that they're done.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they're heading back to bed. Don't blame them.
So they've gone back in their hole. They're having a little explore over there. So I think we'll leave it there, guys. But please, if you've got any more suggestions for names, anything like that, then pop it in the comments below. If you've got any more questions, keep popping them in the comments and we will try our best to answer them as well. So thank you very much for joining us. And thank you to Amy.
Enjoy the rest of your Friday, guys.
Thanks very much. And see us again on Monday morning for our breakfast show again. We'll be posting later every live that we've got going on next week. So just check out our Facebook page later today and you'll see what we've got going on next week. So thanks very much, guys. Bye.